again, everyone. Welcome back to the Daily Gold Podcast. We have a real special treat for you today. I'm here speaking with Pete Doherty. He's the president and CEO of Argonaut Gold. And also on the line, we have Jeb Handwerger of goldstocktrades.com. The two of us are going to be asking Pete a few questions here. Now, Pete, as we get started, Argonaut recently had a news release concerning its La Colorada project. You had a real significant resource increase there, and the stock responded very positively. And can you tell us a little bit more about La Colorada? And I ask this because in the acquisition with Pediment, you obtained San Antonio, which is fair to say it's a flagship project. But La Colorada, I think, is a significant project on its own.
Right. Well, thank you, Jordan, and thank your listeners as well. You know, it's been an exciting year this year at Argonaut. As we started through the whole process and completing the transaction with Argonaut Gold, clearly we saw extra value potential here in the La Colorada project, something that kind of had flown underneath the radar screen during the days of Argonaut Gold, as they were focused clearly on their flagship asset, the San Antonio asset over in the Baja Sur area. We started this year with a smaller program, but a very robust program of about 25,000 meters worth of drilling. Our goals were to hopefully convert enough mineralization to get to a 750,000 ounce size on this project. We clearly had a very good year from the results of this new resource out, and it really is kind of exciting because here is a project that was a past producer and could potentially leapfrog the San Antonio project as going into production earlier should we be able to achieve that 750+ thousand ounces. And with the news out this week, you can see the excitement and the buzz within the company as we look to move that project and advance it forward in a very rapid fashion.
Jeb, I believe you have a question about Mexico. Why don't you go ahead?
Yes, Peter. Some of my readers are interested in what the situation is like mining in Mexico. What are some of the pros and cons of mining in Mexico?
Mm-hmm. Well, Jeff, thank you. I believe that Mexico offers a unique opportunity. There are always things that we look for that clearly set us up to have potential success, and Mexico clearly holds all of those. The things that I always look for are obviously the government regimes, the ownership regimes. Can you hold the majority of a project? What does it look like from a geological perspective? Is it very well endowed? And I see Mexico being very well endowed. Does it have a rich tradition and culture in mining? Mexico clearly hits on all those marks, as well as a culture of acceptance of mining within the individual communities, and a steep tradition in mining and a very well-trained workforce. You add all those things together, it really leads to a significant opportunity, and that has been recognized not only by ourselves, but it's also been recognized in many studies that have been done on Mexico as a whole, and it ranks as in one of the top 10 places in the world to go and explore and put back into production. So from that perspective, I think Mexico offers huge potential for the mining sector as a whole. As we looked at Mexico, we see that there are significant opportunities just from a geologic, but also from a permitting standpoint and an ease of operation, and having that clearly having that trained workforce really helps out significantly and allows you to fast-track projects maybe a little faster than you might in some other parts of the world. And that really has attracted us and many others to the country of Mexico at this time.
Now, Pete, I just want to focus on, as we move into the next year, Argonaut has obviously been very successful so far. I mean, you look at the share price, it's kind of been a difficult year for its peer group and a lot of gold companies, but Argonaut is up on the year. Congratulations on that. And, looking at your presentations and so forth and, projecting potential production as far as time, we would have to look into 2013 for both La Colorada and San Antonio. So why don't you explain to our listeners what Argonaut hopes to achieve next year in 2012 and what you really need to do to keep on this high level of performance?
Well, thank you first for the support. you and your listeners. It is a very difficult business that we work within. It's not every day that we find gold mines and are able to bring them all the way through to production. It's obviously a very exciting time when you start to get into the exploration phase and start to discover additional reserves and resources, and that clearly brings the buzz up within the organization. It gets everybody's juices moving. That is vastly important to us. In any company, there is a culture that you create. Within Argonaut, we are trying to create a culture of continual improvement and striving for that next level. Today, we are a company that has had great strides over the past year. At all three of the projects, we've announced significant resource growth. That can lead to greater production growth over time and the reduction of operating costs and increase of cash flow back to the balance sheet to then in turn build and invest back through our initial R&D or our exploration. We've had a very successful year and a half as a company out pursuing our goals and objectives. As we look towards 2012 and into 2013, we can see a couple of things starting to come together. First, at the El Castillo mine, where we are producing somewhere at a run rate of 70 to 75,000 ounces this year. We look to next year being a new year for the company and an opportunity to expand from where we are today. Currently, all of our production is coming from what we call the western side of the property, where we have a processing plant and some heap leach pads. We have just, during October, commissioned an additional light plant, a duplicate to the one that's on the west, on the eastern side of the property. And that affords us the opportunity to start to step back and look at production enhancements and gives us greater flexibility within the operation. We look to 2012 and 2013 to be exciting years as we continue to expand at that particular property. Moving further to the north, during 2012, through the exploration success that we had here this year at the La Colorada project, we plan on initially starting up an early-stage heap leach project at the La Colorada mine. The reason why we're able to do so in such a rapid fashion is that this is a project that had previously been operated. We were able to go in under the existing footprint of the project and receive permits to get back into production at an easier pace than you might have if you would have had to start from scratch. Therefore, we see 2012 being the initial year for first stage or early stage production coming from La Colorada, with 2013 being more of a full-scale production mine year for the company there. At the San Antonio project over in the Baja Sur, we see great results so far this year from the drilling and movement within all the studies that need to be put together in order to move forward to permitting at that project. The goal there is to submit the permit by the second quarter of 2012 and then work through that permitting process with construction starting sometime in 2013. So exciting times coming forward, but that alone won't fill all of our needs as a company. We have a goal to become a 300,000 to 500,000 ounce a year producer. So we'll continue to look for other opportunities within the grounds that we have, as we have a very large land package in Mexico, and elsewhere as we look for further investment opportunities.
Jeb, do you have another question?
Yeah. One of the things that some of my readers are interested in is if you will have the company has any plans of getting an Amex or an American listing for U.S. retail investors.
Well, Jeb, that's a very good question, and we all know that when companies are listed, dual listed, obviously the trading volume increases significantly. But as we're looking to grow a company, as we are such within Argonaut, and we might be doing that through acquisitions, the other downside of being listed on two indices would be that it takes a while longer to go ahead and complete transactions within those two indices. As you're growing a company, it's probably best to focus in one indice and with investors that will be with you within that industry. And so right now, as we're trying to grow the company, we are trying to focus today, at this point in time, just off of the TSX at this time.
Okay, well, on that note, Pete, thanks so much for the information. I really, really enjoyed it. I'm sure Jeb did. And thanks so much for your time today, and congratulations on all the success that Argonauts had so far. And I very much look forward to the future.
Okay, thank you again, Jordan and Jeb. We look forward to what the future might bring. It's an exciting time to be involved in the gold business. We see gold starting to rise back up again. That obviously brings us all smiles to our faces, as we know. But it also brings challenges, and we look forward to those challenges that might come as we embark on growing and building out more than one mine as we continue down the path of Argonaut Gold. Thank you again.
Thank you.